Hello guys, welcome back. In this video, let us learn more, one more topic, one most famous topic that is important service in AWS, that is S3. So from this video, we're gonna starting the storage services. Till now, from in previous videos, up to previous videos, I've provided the basics of compute services, and from now I'll provide the basics of storage service at first. So in this video, let me introduce you S3. So okay, let me write it. What is that? S3. Okay, in this video, let us learn about service called S3. Okay, it is a object-based storage. So it is a object-based storage. In which format, if anybody asks you, in which format does this S3 will store your data? S3 will store your data in the form of what? Objects. So that's why we call it as S3 is a object-based storage. Okay. Sir, can I store unlimited amount of data in it, or do I have any limit? Do I have any limit of storing data? No, you can store unlimited amount of data. You can store unlimited amount of data. You can store unlimited amount of data in this S3. In the form of what? In the form of objects. In the form of objects. How? In the form of objects. So you can able to store unlimited amount of data in S3. In S3 service, you can able to store unlimited amount of data in the form of objects. So, sir, can you provide a real life example so that it will be very easily understood to us? Okay. So let me provide a real life example. So all of you know Google Drive, right? Yes. I hope all of you know Google Drive and most of you are using the Google Drive. This service is same as Google Drive. The service is same as Google Drive. Whereas in Google Drive, who is providing the service? Google is providing the service. Whereas coming to this S3, who is providing this S3 service? Amazon. That is AWS is providing this S3 service. What do we do with Google Drive, sir? We can add the files. What do we do with Google Drive? With Google Drive, with Google Drive, with Google Drive, we can add. What we can do? We can add the files. We can add files, and we can even modify the files. What we can do? We can add and we can modify. And we can even download the files in Google Drive, right? Yeah. Okay. Sir, you said S3 is same as Google Drive. Do I can able to perform all these things? What are the things I am performing in Google Drive? do I can able to perform those things in S3? Yes. You can able to add your files, you can able to modify your files, and you can even able to download your files. You can even able to access your files in S3. So what is the full form of this S3, sir? S3 stands for S3 stands for simple storage service. What is this S3, sir? S3 stands for simple storage service. Okay, this is also one of the certification question. What does this S3 stands for? Most of the people will confuse. S3 stands for simple storage service. Note this point. S3 stands for simple storage service. Okay. In Google Drive, we can able to run any files. Do I able to run any files in Google Drive? No, I cannot able to run any files in this Google Drive. So I cannot able to run any files in this Google Drive. Right? Yes, I cannot able to run any files in this Google Drive. Google Drive is just for storage purpose only. What kind of storage? Any type of storage. Storage may be, this can be saved in Google Drive. What are the storage may be that can be saved in the Google Drive. Here, S3 also a unlimited storage in AWS. S3 also a unlimited storage which was provided by AWS, where we can able to, what we can able to do, we can able to store the files in it. What we can able to do, we can able to store the files, or else you can say data in S3. We can able to store the data in S3. In which format? Object, in the form of object. Okay, so in S3, can I store all kind of files? Yes, we can able to store all kind of files. You can store all types of files in S3. For example, if you want to add an image to S3, then you can, then it allows you to add the images. If you want to add a video to S3, then it allows you to add that file. Whatever the format may be, whatever the extension of the file may be, you can able to add the data to S3. Okay. Sir, in S3, can you upload files? Yes. Can you download files? Yes. Can you access the files which were uploaded by you? Yes. You can able to access the files. So you can able to, in S3, what are the things that you can able to do? You can able to upload the files. You can able to access the files. You can able to download the files even in S3. Okay. So in S3, can I able to execute any file? Can I able to execute any file? No. You cannot execute any file in S3. Is it possible to install OS in S3? No. Is it possible to install database in S3? No. Is it possible to run any files like Python files or Java files or any .NET files in S3? No. We cannot process or compute. We cannot process or compute any data in S3. Like OS installation or else running the OS, rebooting the OS, such type of things I cannot able to perform in S3. Okay. Now, since it is not able to process the data in S3, then why do we use this S3, sir? For only storage purpose, for storing how much amount of data you want, that much amount of data you can able to store in S3. Is S3 serverless or server based? Now the question is S3 is serverless or server based? S3 is serverless or server based? It is serverless. S3 is serverless. So why do we say this is serverless? Since we do not have any responsibility of maintaining the servers, since we are not responsible of maintaining the server's availability and scalability, we say this service as serverless. Okay, since S3 is serverless, do we need to worry about availability, scalability of S3? No. Then who will take care of these things, that is scalability and availability of S3? The provider, the service provider. Who is the S3 service provider? AWS. That AWS will take care of these things. Whatever the maintenance things, that all things will be taken care by AWS only. So, okay. What is our task in it? We just need to upload our data. We need to store our data and just use it. That's it. And we'll pay for what we use in it. How much amount of data we stored in it, for that only we'll pay. Okay. How to store files in S3, sir? So this is very important. This we're gonna implement in real time. So how do we gonna save files in S3? For that, I'd like to explain you a story. Now, let's say I have a movie named Mirchi. So I have a movie named Mirchi that I was provided to my friend. That movie, that movie was, that movie file was in the format of .mp4. That movie was in the format of .mp4. I given this movie to one of my friend. Let's say Sai. I given this movie to one of my friend Sai, and he want to store it in his laptop so that he can able to watch it in any occasions, or else you can say holidays. In any holidays, he can able to watch it. So for that, what he need to do? He was just created, initially just he created a file with the name what? Movies. In his laptop, he created a file with the name, he created a file with the name, movies. Now, in that, in that, in that file, in that folder, he created a folder with the name movies. What he created? He created a folder with the name. What is the name of the folder that he created? The name is movies. So he created a folder with the name movies, and then he stored within this folder, within his laptop, he created a folder. What is the folder name? Let's say this is his laptop. In this laptop, he created a folder, right? So let's say he created here a folder. In this folder, he stored the movie which I have given, that was stored in it. Okay, let's say now I have given another movie, that is KGF. Now I again given a movie KGF and said to him that, Array Sai, this movie is very interesting and this was very nice. You can watch it in holidays. So again, he go for his laptop and then he opened the movies folder, and then in that movies he stored that KGF file. That file also has MP4 as extension. Okay. In this way he stored. Now, now in AWS also, in AWS also, in the similar way, however, Sai stored his movies, in the similar way, we are going to store our files. We are going to store our files. So what are the files here? Mirchi.mp4 is a file and kgf.mp3 mp4 is a file. So these two are the files. How do we gonna save it in S3? We're gonna save in the same how Sai got saved, in the same way we're gonna save it in S3. So in S3 also, let's say this is the S3. This is the, let's say this is the S3. This is the S3 service. In this S3 service, this is the S3 which is provided by AWS. In this S3, we gonna create buckets. Same as how Sai created a folder, we gonna create what? Bucket. We gonna create bucket in it. So what do we gonna create in S3? We're gonna create bucket. We're gonna create bucket and we must need to provide a name for it, let's say the name of this bucket is also movies. So the name of this bucket is also movies. Okay, now what are the files that I want to put in this bucket? What I have put in this folder? mirchi.mp4 and kgf.mp4. Those are the two movies that I want to put in this bucket. So he just gonna create the bucket in this S3, same like folder creation in laptop. In S3 also he need to create a bucket. Just he need to create a bucket. Then after he just, in the similar way, he uploaded the files in the folder. He gonna upload the files in this bucket like mirchi.mp4 he gonna upload here, and then after that he gonna upload kgf.mp4 here. I will told you how to implement this in lab. You don't need to worry about it. I'll show you a step-by-step explanation of how to upload these data, these files in S3 in AWS. So you don't need to worry about this. You just need to focus on the thing concept. So for uploading these two files, what he did, he just need to go for S3 service. In that service, he just need to create a bucket. In that bucket, he need to upload his files. What are the files he have? That he just uploaded. That's it. Very simple. Now this S3 will store, these files in the form of objects. It just stores the data in the form of objects. That's it. This is how we're gonna upload our files in S3. From there, we can go and even access it. We can even open the files. We can even see the files. We can even download the files from there. In similar to Google Drive, we can even go to the location and then we can able to download the files from AWS Management Console. Now there are two files in my bucket, right? Yeah. First one is mirchi.mp4 and second one is kgf. This, whatever the names, these are objects. How S3 will assume this? How S3 will assume these two things? This S3 will assume these two things as, these two files as what? Objects. S3 will assume these two files as objects. Now, what are the names of those two objects? mirchi.mp4 and kgf.mp4. Now, we call that name of object as, key. What do we call that? Name of object. We call that name of object. Name of the object as key. In buckets, whatever the objects I have, those names I can call it as keys. Can I call this bucket? Can I call this bucket as container of objects? Yes. Since it acts as a container of objects, we can call this bucket as container of objects. Okay. What is object, sir? Object is a file, but what is the name of the object? Name of the object is nothing but key. Key is the name of the object. So what do we create in S3? We create at first buckets. After that, what we gonna upload into S3? We can upload our files. This S3 will assume those files as objects. What are the file you send to upload to S3? It just assumes that file as object only. Okay, a certification question. Is S3 is a object based store? Yes, S3 is a object based storage. Okay, this S3 is not only providing me the storage. Up to now, we read up to S3 is providing me the storage, right? This S3 is not only providing me the storage, it also providing me one advanced feature. It also providing me the advanced feature. So before going to that advanced feature, now let me ask you a question. In S3, how many buckets can I create, sir? In S3, how many buckets can I create? I can create n number of buckets. How many buckets you want? Those many number of buckets you can able to create in a S3. And in a bucket, how much amount of storage can I able to store, sir? You can able to store, unlimited amount of storage in S3. In S3, you can able to create only 100 buckets. This is a certification question or interview question, that how many buckets you can able to create in S3. Then you need to carefully answer only 100 buckets only. Up to for an account, for an AWS account, AWS allows only 100 buckets to create in S3. And users can increase the limit based on the users need. Users can able to request and increase the limit of number of buckets that a user can create with this account, that he can able to increase with by using a request. Okay, sir, you said that there is another advanced feature other than storage. Other than storing, S3 also provides me an advanced feature. What is that advanced feature? I want to know. What is that advanced feature, sir? That advanced feature is static website hosting. What is that advanced feature that S3 is providing? Static website hosting. Static website hosting. Okay. What is this static website, sir? The content used for hosting the website is static. The content that you are going to use is static and which cannot contain any interactive scripts. That is, web page script not have any backend interactions. Okay. In general, where we host our web server, sir? From previous video, we have learned we can host a web service in any one of the compute service, right? So let's say I hosted in EC2. For hosting in EC2, I need to provide high availability, right? Yes. To provide high availability, I again need to follow redundancy, right? Yes. And monitoring also needed and failover also needed for providing the high availability. For all these, what I require? I require load balancer to control the traffic and send the traffic to all my servers. Whenever all my servers gonna fail, then I need to use auto scaling group to provide the high availability, right? Yeah. So to host a website, I need to provide all these things. Even these many things will cost me very high, right? Yes. To host a static website, providing these many things with high availability for high availability will cost me a lot. So is there any service in AWS which will provide me hosting of the static websites with high availability and less cost? With high availability and less cost compared to the EC2 instances. Yes, there is a service which provides you hosting the static websites with high availability and less cost, and even with less maintenance. Is who is the service? S3. This S3 will provide you. How do we can do this, sir? I can tell you in lab by practical explanation. Now I just tell you a brief idea of it. How do you do it? In that also, you just go to S3 service and just you gonna create the bucket with whatever the website name you want. That with that name you're gonna create your bucket. In that bucket you're gonna upload your files, whatever the static website files you have, those you're gonna upload in it. And only thing that you need to perform is just enable the static web hosting. Just need to enable the enable static website hosting. Static website hosting, that is an option. You just need to enable that in AWS. That's it. That's it. You got, it will provide you a hosted and highly available static website in AWS. It just provides you a URL where that URL contains your website. Whatever the website that you content will provide, that website is hosted. It will provide you. So in this way, S3 will provide you this advanced feature also. If anyone asks you, what is the service that provides you hosted and highly available of static website in AWS for very less maintenance and less cost, then what is your answer? S3. Okay. If you have a need to host static website, then you need to prefer S3. Now let's have a question. Is S3 is S3 is regional or global? Is S3 is regional or global? So let me write the question here. So S3 is regional or global is the question. Regional or global is the question. The answer for this is S3 is a global service. S3 is what? It is a global service whereas buckets are regional. Only buckets are regional. What are the buckets we're gonna create in S3? Those are regional. The buckets which we're gonna create in the S3 are regional. That means we can able to access, we can able to create buckets in one region. In that region only I can able to access those buckets. Let's say, I created this movies bucket in Mumbai region. Let's say I created this movies bucket in Mumbai region. Which region? Mumbai region. And now I just gone for which region? Hyderabad region. I just gone for Hyderabad region. Can I able to see? Can I able to see this bucket in here? No, you cannot able to see that bucket in Hyderabad region. Since why? Because buckets are created, buckets are regional, and you created the bucket in Mumbai region. So that's why you cannot able to see that bucket in this Hyderabad region. You can able to see only in Mumbai region. So that's why buckets are regional. Okay. Sir, you told me that S3 is a object based storage, right? S3 is a object based storage. So I have a question. Do I need to modify? Do I need to modify? Okay, let's have a question. If I have 1 GB of data, if I have 1 GB of data and I just need a modification, I just need a modification of 1 MB. I just need a modification of 1 MB. So now in this object based storage, in this object based storage, what you do? You will modify only that what are the required 1 MB data, or you need to modify that whole data. In object based storage, we just we just need to modify we just need to modify 1 MB data only. 1 MB data only. We don't need to modify the whole 1 GB data. In future videos, there is a I'm gonna introduce you a storage service where to modify 1 MB data, you need to modify the whole 1 GB data also. You need to modify the whole 1 GB data. So let me provide you the service name as well, the type of service. The type of service is block store. The type of service is block store. Since it is elastic, we call that service as elastic block store. Elastic block storage. I'm gonna provide you in detailed explanation of when do we use this block storage and what are the advantages of these blocks, elastic block storage compared to S3 in next video. I hope you understood the basics of S3. And what is this S3? It's a simple storage service. What is this? It's an object-based unlimited amount of storage service. We can able to access this S3 in the same form of Google Drive. We can able to store any type of data in the form of objects, and it can also provides me the advanced feature, that is static website hosting. This S3 buckets are regional, but S3 service is global. We just need to modify 1 MB of data from 1 GB of data whenever we require. We don't need to modify that whole GB to modify just 1 MB of data. What do we call object's name in this S3 bucket? We call that as key. So I hope you understood this. Before uploading your bucket objects, before uploading your objects into S3, you must need to create a bucket. Same as file, you need to create a bucket and then only you can able to upload your files. This is the format of uploading your files. I hope you understood this video and you understood the basic concepts of S3. In future, we're going to implement it in a lab as well. So thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get the latest updates. See you back in the next video with another storage service. Until then, bye bye. Thanks for watching again.